This is FAFO, holler it loud. Fuck around with fiction, get the facts drawn. Getting triggers just the cost of the crowd. We're toxic to the lies, truth we're proud. This is FAFO, no smooth talk, no vow. You brought your stories, we brought the real. Now run your mouth and meet the South down. Fuck around and find out, burn it down.
Welcome back to the FAFO Podcast. That's right, the podcast where we F around with sacred cows and find out what's really holding up that barn. I'm your host, BD, and today we're going to dive deep into one of the most entertaining grifts of the 2020s. Absolutely. Protesting as content creation. You know that whole thing where righteous fury meets monetization algorithms, faux outrage goes viral, and suddenly everyone's a revolutionary with a GoPro, a perfectly lit selfie, and a Venmo link. Buckle up. We're calling out the clout chasers today, the paid extras, the performative posers, and the platforms cashing in. Let's F around and let's find out. Hope you guys are doing well. And I'll tell you what prompted this. Here where I live, Saratoga, Mississippi, some of you have probably seen this on the news. On Sunday of this week, there was a 1-year-old child that was shot and killed by a police officer. That in and of itself is horrendous. It's terrible. And more to the point, it never should have happened. Never should have happened. It was a black child. It was a white cop. And I tell you that so you know exactly what we're about to get into and why this became as big a deal as it was. And look, anytime a child gets murdered by a policeman, it's a big deal. It should be. Anytime a child gets murdered, period, it should be a big deal. Anytime they lose their life, it's a big deal. But you know what they never do? So they go straight to DEFCON 1. But they never talk about how we got there. They only talk about the end result, then they throw all this stuff on top of it as if they know. But they never talk about how we got from just a normal day to this child losing his life senselessly. And all that happened in between to get us there. And this case is still being investigated by the Mississippi Department Bureau of Investigation. So we haven't seen a lot of the facts yet. We're not going to until they complete this investigation. But you know how it is in the world. Everybody wants everything right now. They don't want the investigation. They just want all the stuff right now without the investigation going on. They don't want any of that. They want their outrage. For a lot of those, we had a huge protest here in the small town of ours yesterday. Huge protest. Started out at City Hall. And then it moved and grew in number to Walmart. You heard me correctly. The Walmart. Why the Walmart? Because the incident took place in the Walmart parking lot. And so because the incident took place in the Walmart parking lot, Walmart is now the villain. Now, there are going to be some people that say, whoa. That's not why we're saying Walmart's the villain. We're saying Walmart's the villain because they said these people were shoplifting. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if they were or weren't. There have been so many rumors, and as I've said on this show 100 times, you can't just sit up here and throw shit at the wall and expect it to stick and pretend that's the truth. Like we don't know what all is the truth so far. We don't. Now, we know what the ladies who survived are saying. And they haven't even come out and made a public statement. There have been some family members come out and said some stuff. But we haven't seen the camera footage that led to all of this. We haven't seen anything. So for everyone else to come out and already start making these accusations is ludicrous. It's stupid. And it shows you the complete grift that a lot of these bottom feeders will do. And they play on the sympathy and the devastation of the families involved in this. One family will mourn forever the loss of a baby. And there's going to be a policeman out there, if he has any soul at all, will be mourning the fact that he took the life of an innocent child shooting into this vehicle. Now, I don't believe for 1 second. I don't believe at all for 1 second that he was intentionally firing at this child in the car. Matter of fact, I think another one of the rumors, these so-called rumors out there, says he didn't even know the child was in the car. He just know the car was coming after him. She wouldn't stop, and he opened fire. That right now is what we know is being said. It's also being said on the other side that, hey, they weren't shoplifting. They had the receipt on their phone. She was trying to tell the cop that, but he didn't want to listen. And instead of getting it straight right there, they still got in their car and took off. Again, there were failures all the way across the board here. And then yesterday, the protesters come out, and protesting is fine. You should let your voice be heard. I say this all the time, too. Nothing wrong with protesting. Protest. If you truly believe what you're protesting for, protest. But don't destroy property. Don't threaten to burn down buildings and all this other garbage, because that's not protesting. Especially when you're not from around here. You're not from this town. You're from Memphis. You're from Chicago. You're from Jackson. And protesting is your life's work. That's all you do. I can't tell you how many videos I saw yesterday. And I was over a buddy of mine, and we were watching this live stream yesterday of one of the paid protesters. Well, these guys, I say paid protesters, he's a content creator out of Memphis and does things like this. It goes to all these kinds of things. And they're out there talking so much trash to these officers, like any of those officers had anything to do with what happened. All right, they had none. The officer that did have something to do has been put on leave, which is how that goes until the investigation is done. And I fully believe that's going to escalate when they do. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And then I'm sure by now, because I saw this on several news programs last night where people saw that tear gas was deployed. Yes, it was. Because people were getting right up into the faces of these policemen and then started yelling things about burning Walmart down, and that was it. There was enough of that. They weren't putting up with it. This ain't like in a big city where they just take it and take it and take it. Well, you're in small town Mississippi now. You're in small town Mississippi now. It's just small town. You don't come around parts like ours causing a ruckus when you're not even from around here and trying to get sideways on people here in our town. If they obeyed the cop, according to the news, they would have been out in less than an hour. Well, this is, yes, and that's the thing. They wanted to argue. They didn't do it, and it led to all this escalation. Now, I'm not blaming the parents for the death of the child. I'm saying there's failures all the way across the board here. All the way across the board. This is just not a one person at fault deal. And if you can't see that, then you're willfully being ignorant, folks. If you can't see there was a problem here, all the way across in every aspect of this, then you're willfully being ignorant. And the truth will come out. There'll be, all this stuff will come out. And we will see what the truth is. But I think it's the height of stupidity to sit here now when investigations are still going on and make these assumptions as to what the truth is. It's ignorant to do that. It's stupid. It's okay to be outraged. It's okay to hate what happened. You should. You should never celebrate the death of a child. My problem is when you got people from Memphis, from Chicago, from Jackson coming down just to protest over something they know nothing about because they think that once again, it's racist cop, racist Walmart, racist people trying to automatically kill black people. That's what a lot of these people believe. It's automatically that. And yes, we know there's some dicks as cops out there. We know there's some bad ones. But that ain't all of them, and that ain't the majority. But you got these crazy-ass protesters that come in here, instigating, thinking they know things. Like I saw clips Tuesday. I saw some of those clips. But let me tell you something. All those people that were out there, and there were a ton of people out there. These cops did not escalate it here. They did not. When they threatened the burning of Walmart and they got up in their faces, they didn't puss out like these ones in LA and these other big cities. They said, no, we're not doing that. Back to F off. You can come here, and they even told them, you can come here and you can protest, but you make threats, you do stupid things, you shove these shopping carts and your ass is out of here. Which is how it should be handled. You don't let these people do that. Yeah, I heard what they were saying to the black officers at Walmart. Believe me, I heard it. They were calling them all kinds of Uncle Toms and sellouts and all these other things. These are men and women who are just trying to do their jobs. They want no part of that. You don't think they hated the death of that child as much as anybody else? Of course they did. Of course they did. It's just the amount of ignorance I see on Facebook, which is no surprise. It's not shocking that there's that much ignorance out there. It's everywhere. People already know. They think they know, out there talking smack. And it's the most ignorant people saying it. What they gonna do. What's right and what's wrong. How they already know everything. Well, hell, if you're that damn clairvoyant, why haven't you won the lottery yet? It's asinine. It's asinine. And protesting has become a grift. A true grift. And we just got a small sample of that yesterday. A small sample. It used to be about showing up. All right, you'd risk arrest or worse, but you'd stand on your convictions, right? But now, it's often just a side hustle. Like it's a full brand strategy. Social media has turned activism into high production performance art. We know this. George Floyd riots, these protests that turned into riots, burning Minnesota down. Influencers showed up with photographers in tow. There was one case. You had there was a model, an influencer named Chris Satchel, or Satchel. I can't remember how you say his last name. It's weird, but it was posing in a black maxi dress, holding a sign at an LA protest, with her photographer capturing the moment for her 240,000 Instagram followers. And of course, the photos went viral, but not for the cause. It went viral for the backlash accusing her of using the unrest as content backdrop. And so let's fast forward a little bit. Because creators film this raw, emotional reactions. Bullshit. They're coordinated outfits, there's branded signs, and then they drop a tearful TikTok series with a Patreon or merch link in the bio. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Please go support us on Patreon. Please like and subscribe and get down there. And this is my Venmo account number. If you would like to donate to this awful thing for me that I'm having to go through, stop. And here's the thing, the algorithms love it. Why? Because anger drives engagement, views, ad revenue, donations. Outrage content performs so well that creators admit feeling pressure to escalate for the algorithm. It's bipartisan. Left-wing justice influencers, right-wing freedom rally streamers, both farm the same emotional gold mine. And here's the thing, platforms don't care about the truth. They care about watch time. Rage equals retention equals revenue. Remember that. Because truly, that's the only algorithm equation you need to understand how this grift works. You can see on a lot of those videos as we were watching live, there were so many because that dude would pan every now and then. I have seen more of this yesterday. Let me look here. Oh, here's another one. Let me look up here. By the way, y'all look at all this. So this is what we're doing, folks. Everybody became a damn social commentator. Everybody did. You know, it's so bad. It's so bad. So there's the thing. Paid protesters. Are they real or are they a myth? I want to talk about that. Yeah, the police handled themselves like professionals yesterday. They certainly did. So let's talk about this paid protest. Is it real or is it a myth? Now, it's not entirely a myth. Companies openly offer these services. We have seen several protesters here recently to where they already have everything staged and ready. Right? From your signs, your shirts, to places where you can get all your snacks, everything's set up and ready. You're not just showing up. It has been already set up for you. Here's a real example. Crowds on Demand. This is an LA-based firm founded by Adam Swart. What does he do? Well, he hires actors and participants for rallies, protests, and events. This is a real place, folks. They've worked for political campaigns, corporations, and causes across the spectrum. And Swartz has publicly discussed a 400% spike in paid protester requests in certain years, noting they pay modestly and are selective. A couple of examples. You want a couple of? How about Anthony Weiner's 2013 campaign, which has been disputed? What about astroturfing for a power plant in New Orleans and various advocacy setups? They frame it as lawful participation, but it fuels skepticism. I mean, in 25-26 alone, amid these No Kings rallies and these other major protests, this company again made headlines explaining their role in supplying crowds. And what do you think happens when these paid protesters get in there? They're not there for the protest. They're there to get paid and to rile shit up. Critics even point out that the pre-printed identical signs and busted-in groups make movements look less organic because they're not. They're not. Now, on the flip side, most everyday protesters aren't paid. The existence of pros just gives ammo to dismiss genuine turnout. And they back this up with all this AI slop that's out there. The recycled footage makes it even worse. Look, if your spontaneous grassroots event needs casting calls and payroll, your authenticity is already compromised. Real conviction rarely requires a temp agency. How do we not understand this? Because we live in a faux outrage economy. We do. We live in a faux outrage economy. I mean, my God, all you have to do is open up Facebook. Look at it all. Look at the garbage. Look at how many people believe in the garbage and then comment their stupidity on here as if they know. Like they believe in what they post without any research, without any education, without any of it. They know what they're told to feel and they just spit it back out and pretend it's the truth and that they care about that thing. Social media trains users to perform maximum outrage because it pays in likes, shares, and subs. I mean, studies and observations show people amp up their anger online for the dopamine and the dollars. You want real examples, I'm assuming? Let's go. I'll show you some real examples of the grift. Blackout Tuesday, 2020. There were millions, including brands and influencers who posted plain black squares on Instagram with Black Lives Matter. Y'all remember this? It was meant as solidarity, but drowned out actual protest info and was widely slammed as performative slacktivism. Yeah, you heard me right, slacktivism. Why? Because it was zero cost, it was high virtue signal, and took no effort. Critics, including black activists, called it lazy bandwagoning that changed nothing. You know what it did? It made the laziest people feel like they were doing a little something, the rebellion, when they weren't doing shit. It made other people feel like they were part of the cool group because they put a little black square on their profile picture. And they weren't doing shit. Influencers treating protests as aesthetic backdrops. Come on. There were multiple creators in 2020 who faced heat for perfectly curated protest selfies while the real chaos happened around them. And what do you think happened once they got the content they wanted? They dipped. They were out. They got what they needed. They didn't want to be a part of that. They wanted the content. This modern twist, these rage bait accounts, right? Which sometimes are overseas farms, by the way, that pump this AI-generated or recycled protest clips and make it was about one thing and they say it's this other deal. I mean, Portland's inflatable costume protest against ICE went mega viral with frog suits and dinosaurs. Just great visuals, right, for shares. Whether the underlying issue advanced or not, they didn't care. They wanted the video to be shared because they make their monies off the likes and the shares and the views. And a lot of you people out there are being sucked into the grift hard. You want to believe that, no, these people on the up and up, they would never lie to me or grift me. That's not what they would do. Certainly not. There's no way they would do that to me. I'm too smart for that. No, you're not. Apparently, you're not. And it's wild. And it's crazy. They've got these creators who build these entire brands around perpetual fury. They show up, they film dramatic B-roll footage. They post multi-part series, link donations. Some raise serious money via GoFundMe and Patreon, tied to the movement. But the results on the ground, they're mixed. Genuine protest matters when there's real tyranny or injustice. It does. But when it's theater for the feed, for your filtered selfies, your blackout squares, your costume stunts for clicks, you're not an activist. You're an entertainer. Plain and simple. The platforms and top grifters bank the real money while you chase clout. And I know you don't want to hear it, and you're going to argue against it and say, no, that's not true. It is true. You know it's true. You just don't want to admit to the truth. You see, because when the cameras leave and the trend dies, what's left? Deeper polarization, eroded trust, and dismissed legitimate grievances because everyone's seeing too much performance. Algorithms keep the outrage machine humming. Enragement equals engagement equals ad dollars. You know, and there are consequences. Misinformation explodes during protests, like fake videos, old footage reposted as new. These conspiracy theories about paid actors on all sides. Trust collapses. And policy change, that's a rare thing. Rare thing. Viral moments, oh, those are everywhere. Society gets angrier, dumber, and just harder to fix. And then you got real organizers, they get painted with the same brush as the clout chasers. There were real protesters yesterday here who were there for all the right reasons. And yet when you bring in, when these grifters come in and they pull the stunts they pull, it ruins what the actual organizers and protesters are trying to accomplish. And that's to bring awareness to the injustice they see. So, what's the solution? Touch grass. Verify sources before amplifying it. Support causes with sustained effort, not just post. And for creators, if your whole identity is 24/7 manufactured rage, you might be the problem. Demand substance over spectacle, folks. You want to know the FAFO moral of this entire episode? It's this. You fuck around with fake rage, with paid crowds, with Instagrammable outrage for clout and cash, and you'll find out. Society fractures further. Real issues are going to get harder to solve, and the only winners are the platforms and the smartest grifters. Authentic change is slow. It's local, it's boring, and it rarely goes viral. It's a hell of a thing to see. It's a hell of a thing to be a part of. It's a hell of a thing when an innocent child loses their life. And people have a right to protest and voice that outrage, and they should. I will always be a fan of that. Of freedom of speech is your First Amendment rights, voice them. The problem becomes when you insert these faux rage, fake protesters who are grifting, hyping up crowds for content, and then all of a sudden a peaceful protest to talk about your anguish and your heartache and the changes that need to be made, those get squashed. They get left in the dust by stupidity, while throwing things and tearing things up and burning things down just for these grifters' content. Because those snakes are in your protest. They're weaving in and out, just spewing their venom to hype you up. When the word came out about this child getting shot and getting killed, every person I knew felt horrific for that child and for that family. It didn't matter the color of their skin here. All we cared about was how horrible that is. And then what happens? It gets turned into a big ass grift. It gets turned into a white versus black thing. When it wasn't. It's not a white versus black thing. And I suppose that's the biggest tragedy of all of it, of what we see today. We have taken so many steps backwards. And you have so many people who believe in these idiots, these grifters out there who hype up and weasel their way into legitimate protests, who spit venom and poison. There's so many people who believe it. You know, how do you let somebody who's got an eye looking this way, an eye looking this way, hair all frazzled and crazy, who can't speak a proper sentence, can't get actual words out, yet he comes on here, says things about how it's all evil, how the white man is wrong, how all of this is going on, and you believe that person. Because let me tell you, that person just don't exist on one side. That person exists on all sides. I've seen the whites do it. Some of these idiots out there talking about how evil black people are, Hispanic people are, Asian people. Hate doesn't have a race. Hate is everywhere, in all races, in all people. Nobody, not one race, has that in their, to where they themselves are the only ones. It's in every one of us. It's in every race. It's out there. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part to me of all of it. And I hate it. And it's awful. But there we have it. And there we go. In our little town, they closed Walmart today. Today, the day after, Walmart is closed. Completely shut down. And for no reason. Say what you want to. It is no reason. There's no effing reason. Nothing happened in Walmart. There's no crime scene in Walmart. And yet, listen to a grifter. And they'll tell you differently. They'll make you believe differently. Because one thing you learn in life is there are a lot of dumb ass people out there. A lot of dumb people who believe anything they're told. Doesn't matter what it is. You tell them and they're just going to believe it. And this is how dumb people are. This is how dumb our younger generations are. And they're just becoming more and more ignorant every second of the day. I saw a video yesterday. And I wasn't the only one. This video down here was like, it was being shared everywhere. There were two young men in Jackson with guns arguing. One had more of a Uzi type of gun, one had a pistol. They're arguing, talking shit back and forth, just talking trash. Threatening each other. One's walking away, other guy's following him, talking trash. The one that was behind him, still talking trash, had a pistol in his hand. And then he puts that pistol down. Like he wanted to fight that other guy. You know what the other guy did? He just walked up to him and started shooting. Now, here's the crazier part of that. He walked up to him with that little Uzi. Pop, 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 pop. Missed every shot as he's walking up to him. The guy just was looking at him like, huh? And then he casually, like, reaches down to grab his gun, come back up, and it just popped in the head, and down he goes again. Horrific. Tragic. And yet this occurs all the time, and I haven't heard one word about this. A senseless death of a young black teenager for no damn reason. Other than it's become a cultural thing. And it's sad because a mom lost her child yesterday, another one, to senselessness. And it just keeps happening. It just keeps happening. Guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in today to the FAFO podcast. As always, we're here every Monday, every Tuesday, all throughout the week, 9 a.m. You want to listen to us, or maybe you are listening to us on Spotify, through Apple Podcast or Amazon Music. You want to be a part of the show, it's easy. Watch us live on Facebook at the FAFO Podcast. Watch us live on Kick at the FAFO Podcast. Watch us live on YouTube at the FAFO Podcast. And you can leave your comments on the show during the show. I'll read every one of them. And that's what we try to do. Speaking of our chat, okay, there we go. Neil says they handle themselves like professionals. Jason says idiots. Chance says just like the Johnny Cash song says, and the voice of you says, what is truth? And there you go. There you go. But you are listening to the Fuck Around and Find Out podcast. Facts, truth, no BS. Let's up and go.
Four on the floor, have a tank of gas. Does he boots on the wood, let the whiskey pass? I ain't preaching from a pulpit, I'm talking from the scar. You can dress up a lie, but it won't get far. They call it toxic when it burns your tongue. I call it true when it's finally sung.